Welcome to the Weekly Spanish Review. This is for Mr. Jones's Spanish 1 classes from April 5th to April 9th. This week we took a look at stem changing verbs. Now before I go over these, I want to explain verbs in general and what we've done so far in Spanish 1. In Unit 3 is where we saw a lot of new verbs. Those are the ones that dealt with school and also after-school activities and hobbies. We learned some AR verbs like tomar, to take, mirar, escuchar, estudiar. We saw those, how they ended regularly, like to listen. Yo escucho, escuchas, escucha, escuchamos, escuchan. Then when we moved on to Unit 4, we introduced ER and IR verbs when we learned about food, like comer, beber, and vivir. Now in Unit 5, we're going over sports. We're seeing verbs like to win, to play. But for the first time, we're going to see these stem-changing verbs that we see here on the chart and that we're doing this week. So stem-changing, some examples are volver, poder, and dormir. We'll look at this first one, volver, to return. Notice how the O changes to UE, and that's the same thing with poder too. We can see poder, can, or be able to, UE, and also dormir. So we've got to memorize these, and then we'll be able to make sentences and use them. So for example, yo vuelvo, I return. Vuelves, vuelve. And then these stem changers do not change with nosotros. Volvemos, podemos, queremos, as we can see. So how are we going to be able to use these in this unit? Well, for example, I return to the court. Yo vuelvo a la cancha. You return to the court. Tú vuelves a la cancha. Poder, to be able to or can. I can play sports. Yo puedo jugar deportes. We're going to use querer to talk about what sports we want to play. Yo quiero jugar fútbol. Or we want to win. Nosotros queremos ganar. I won't go through every single conjugation, but we can kind of see here that they follow the same pattern. We've got new words like pensar, to think, dormir, to sleep, preferir, and jugar. Now I went over some of these stem changers that go from O to UE. We've also got the ones that change from I to IE, as you can see here. Querer, quiero. Perder, notice how we put that I in front. Pierdo. Pensar, pienso. So they're following these similar patterns. Alright, finally let's take a few examples from the book and make some sentences out of these to practice. So in this first one, we've got los dos equipos. So we know equipo is team, so the two teams want to win. Alright, so if we want to make this sentence, we know querer is want, we know ganar is win, so we got to say they want to win. So how are we going to change querer? We want to change it to they want, so quieren. So in this sentence, I'm going to make it los dos equipos quieren ganar. In this next one, we're talking about Javier wants to score a goal. We know querer is want, meter un gol, score a goal. So how are we going to conjugate querer if we're talking about Javier, he? So we got querer, we've got he. So we say quiere. Javier quiere meter un gol. Now we're going to be able to talk about these with everybody. Like if I want to score a goal, yo quiero meter un gol. Tú quieres meter un gol. Notice how we change querer. We want to score a goal. Nosotros queremos meter un gol. Alright, finally our last one, los jugadores, the players. One of these new verbs that we're seeing, empezar, to begin or to start. Comenzar is the same thing, to begin or to start. So the players start to play. So we got los jugadores, they. So we got to change empezar to empiezan. Continue studying these new words that we're learning, these new verbs, and also your whole list from chapter 5. Make sure you're looking at your list for at least 5 minutes a night.